SLC6A1 is a very rare type of epilepsy, and today we're going to be talking with one of the leaders, parental leaders, but who's also a clinician, to hear more about what happens in the lives of people affected by this rare epilepsy. So, hi there. Could you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do, please?
Yes, my name's Lindsay Randall and I am a paediatric practice development nurse in the UK, and I'm also the founder and CEO of SLC6A1 Connect UK and now co-founder of SLC6A1 Europe.
So could you give us a couple of examples of people affected by this very rare epilepsy? I guess extremes, if you can put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two quite big extremes. It's quite a spectrum of a condition. So we have children, profoundly disabled at one end who are in wheelchairs. Maybe they're peg fed, they're non-verbal. Times are hard. There's lots of screaming potentially, which is really, really tough on the families. And as we've heard that happening here today at the conference. Yes. And then at the other end, we've got some amazing examples of children who have been able to go to college. Maybe they've got a couple of GCSEs. They've got, we just had a fantastic news about one of our young people who has just achieved a BTEC, which is just mind-blowing. It's amazing. So
Talk about extremes, right?
Really. Which must be challenging for the parents, because we all want to share our stories and we don't want one to not share because of the other. But you could see how it might affect them very differently, hearing the polar opposites.
Like, why can't my kid do that?
Yeah.
Or I think sometimes even the parents of the child who did very, very well academically, almost like, I can't tell them because it will make them feel bad.
Often they don't. It's a private message rather than to the group, which I always encourage them to share the amazing stories because it really does give hope to a lot.
And realistic hope as well.
Realistic hope, exactly. But of course, we know that there are still lots of children who will never be able to do that.
What would you say then? I mean, we're emotional already, but what is the most tough? The tough thing that you have to experience in the role that you have, and the same for other families as well. What's the most difficult part of having a child with this rare epilepsy?
For us, I think getting on top of the epilepsy is super hard. It's definitely refractory, and we go through a lot of different medications to try.
Always refractory?
Yes. Yeah.
There is no.
I don't think there's any child yet who has not tried at least 3 medications and then takes multiple to be able to get some seizure control.
But do they ever get full seizure control?
Very few. Very few.
So it's largely refractory.
Yeah, largely.
Okay.
And then the behaviour and the intellectual disability. That's it has profound effect on our lives, our quality of life, our ability to go out, to be relaxed, to have fun. Like, there's so much. It's really tough, but there is a lot of joy with our kids. But I think the constant having to think everything through before you do it. Where are we going? Is it safe? Can they be free? Do we have to hold them back on reins?
Reactions from other people as well. You don't understand.
Absolutely. Like, if we don't shadow our daughter and she's running around trying to make friends and they don't interact with her, she will grab them and she will pull them over, or she might pull their hair. We've had it countless times happen to us. And we've had, several interactions with other families where it's got quite heated, and you're having to explain that you've got a disabled child, and why are they responding like that? It's awful.
Yeah, I guess that's the emotional side of things. How do you? I mean, people say that we never want to give up hope, for sure, but we want realistic hope. Yeah. Because there's a lot of nonsense out there, unfortunately. So how do you manage things by managing the rubbish, what you know is rubbish, but staying realistically hopeful, maybe even hopeful for people of the future?
I think a lot of it is hope for the future, because we collaborate a lot with researchers and scientists and pharma, and that's through a lot of effort and a lot of hard work of families, right, we're not trained in this, right? We sort of come into it because our children need help, and we push our way into this scientific world that we know nothing about. And and we get people on board, and they're interested in our children and our story, and they want to make treatments. So I think the realistic hope is with the people that we actually work with, and knowing that they genuinely care about creating a treatment that works for our disease and for our children and for our loved ones and our adults.
You say treatment, how about prevention or coming in right early when
Really
just
early?
After
We that would be amazing, and obviously a lot of the bigger kind of more precision therapies call for that.
Yes.
I do think it's a challenge for us because it's such a spectrum disorder. So it's not like other disorders where you know you're going to get stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and that's your trajectory. We don't have that. So actually, it's a really challenging thing because when they're tiny, you don't know what they're going to be like at 3, at 5, at 9. It's really very, very difficult.
Yeah. So we need more clean, good data.
Yeah.
More people involved in this research into this disease.
Definitely. Yeah. And more families, getting the families involved, finding where they are. You know, we in touch with our advocacy groups, we have such a small proportion of what we know is out there in terms of prevalence of the condition.
Is it mainly Europe you have the families from, or do you have?
No, we have a huge population in the States, and we have an amazing advocacy group over there. And then we have a population across Europe. We know of the population in Australia, for example. There's patients in China that we know about. And then the others are kind of absent anomalies, right? We need to find them.
So South America, Africa,
other
parts of Asia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's so many things that could be done to improve your lives, your quality of life as families as well as individuals. If you could choose one thing, is that possible? Choosing one thing, or what would be the primary thing you would like for clinicians and researchers to target?
I think the thing that really needs the attention is that the challenging behaviour and the intellect, because we can keep focusing on the epilepsy, which we know is super, super important and has an impact on all of those other things. Yes, so treat the epilepsy, you'll have better outcomes. But actually treat our epilepsy and we still seem to have those things. So
mood impacts seizures, right? Seizure frequency, severity. So
yeah, it's just a constant battle back and forth. And even the kids that we know who have got excellent seizure control, you know, they do have less challenging behaviours, but it's still happening. It's still, and it's tough for the family. It's tough for them, right, to have these sort of like really out of control moments, and then sort of coming back into focus again. It's hard.
So we need to look at the individual as a whole rather than just the symptoms.
Definitely.
Being seizures. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for this event. It's so cool. The first one, but no one would ever know.
I know, it's
fabulous.
The first one, and we have been very, very stressed all day, or I have anyway.
And food that one could have on the ketogenic diet. I really appreciate it. Normally I just have to eat nuts. So thank you.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks, Torie.